Hi again. So this is an update on the previous series. As I said in the last episode, I would be sort of fiddling with it and trying to improve it a little, and I believe I have. So now we've got a proper interface system running for devices such as serial devices. We've got a disk controller as well now. So the front panel looks very different. As you can see, we've got a bunch of controls. We've even got the blinky lights, the sense switches. So let me go over what I've added. Added a disk controller, so we've got, it actually supports 16 disks, but we've only got 4 on the front panel. We have a cassette adapter and also a serial console. Now the serial console is basically just a text box. It's a custom control that extends text box, and that's this. But there is something else to that as well, which I'll get to in a minute. So let's get it going. So there's the system. Now when it first starts up, it's just like an Altair. It's got absolutely nothing in memory. We have to set all that up. We can do as we did before. So I can load a hex file. I can directly load a hex file now. So I'll load the 2SIO hex file, which is the bootstrap loader for BASIC. And yeah, the serial controller is a 2SIO emulator. So we've got the sense switches right for that. So click reset just to make sure everything's at the right place and run. And you can see here from the program counter that it's just looping around at the beginning of memory. So in order to load BASIC, we need to send it to the same serial port. So this would be the equivalent to loading it from paper tape or something like that. So we'll send to the device terminal, and we want to send the tape of extended BASIC there, and there we go, we've booted up, and there we are in extended BASIC. Type dir in BASIC. Okay, so this is not the disk version of BASIC, so but I can save and load programs. So if I write a small program here, okay, so that's the program, pretty simple. Hello, please tell me your name, and goodbye. Okay, I can start capturing data from cassette. So I'll click to start capturing, and now I can type csave by. As you can see, it's captured a bunch of data from the cassette now. So if I stop that, I can now save the data that I've just captured, and I'm going to call it by.bas. Okay, so we'll shut down the emulator completely just to show that we're starting from a clean state, and we'll boot BASIC back up, and this time we'll load it from cassette. Okay, so we're going to load the cassette bootstrap loader, and with that you need those 2 switches up. Okay, we'll click reset and then run. As you can see, it's looping around at the beginning of RAM, and this time I'm going to set into the cassette interface. So this will be the equivalent of pressing play on a cassette player. Send that in, and BASIC is up. So what I can do now is I can say cload, and then we'll load our program back in. Yeah, byte. It doesn't matter because it only takes the first character anyway. And then I can send again to device, and we want some BASIC programs. So there's my by.bas program. So we'll send that, and you can see it's come okay. And there's my program. Works perfectly fine. So we can save and load to cassette. So let's stop all this and show you disk BASIC. So to load disk BASIC, we need the disk BASIC loader, or the disk boot loader, and then hit reset, because this runs from a higher area of memory. It's right up there at the top of memory. And we also need to include disk, so we'll put disk BASIC version 300, whatever that is, version 5. We'll stick that in drive 0 and click run. And there we go. We've now got disk basic running. So with disk basic you have to mount the disk. So I'll mount disk 0. And there. But there's not much on there, so let's put another disk in. So I'll put another disk in disk 1. Now we've got some games here on that disk. So I've now put that disk into disk 1. And we'll mount disk 1. Files 1, and there we go. So if we wanted to load one of these, let's just pick one at random, the USA. That's like that rocket launch thing. So load USA, 1, and the program's in there. It's a very simple program. Alright, there's disk basic. Now of course, because we have a disk system running, let's again put the disk bootloader in, and this time we're going to boot CPM. So I've put a CPM disk in there, click run, and now we are into CPM. And of course in CPM we can basic in here as well, which we can use. Now on this CPM disk we have this game ladder. Now what I'm going to do, I should have done this before, but here I can control the speed of the system, so I'm going to have to increase the speed of the system a little bit because the ladder is terribly slow otherwise. So I'm going to set it to 300 nanoseconds per clock cycle, and we're going to load CPM again. Okay, now if I start ladder, you can see all this mess down here. This is VT100, I think. It's some kind of smart terminal codes that tell it where to move the cursor and do all sorts of stuff. And of course my simple text box can't deal with that. I could write something to do it, but it would be a big effort. But not to worry, because I have a terminal emulator. It's called PuTTY. So what I've done is I've just set up a listening socket on here so that I can do this. And of course PuTTY will recognize those terminal codes. So I should be able to play this game. Let him fall down there. Ooh. Oh, I didn't see him. He dropped out of the... Oh, I think we're there. Yes. Yeah, that terminal bell is a little bit noisy. Yeah, I'm not going to do another. So not only can we use that terminal for something like that, let's load this bootloader again, and this time I'm going to load Supercalc, which has CPM on the disk. So reset and run, and we'll start my terminal emulator again. And you can see on here it's basically a mirror of the terminal screen in the program. So make that full screen and we'll start Supercalc 2. There we go, we're in Supercalc. So let's do a few things. Okay, so we want total down here. So let's make a total, and I think that is sum. And we want to sum from C4 to C8. Okay, C4 to C8. There we go. And if we want the average, so let's put there, that's going to be a string. It's total. And we'll work out an average as well. So that's average. And that's going to be the total, which is C10, divided by 5. There we go. That value is a bit high, isn't it? Let's turn it down to 321. There we go. So yeah, it's running CPM, it's running Supercalc. I think that's a pretty good test. Seems to be holding up well. There are a few little peculiarities that I still need to iron out before I make the source code available, but so far I'm really happy. Everything seems to be working well. Yeah, look at all those terminal codes. Yeah, text box can't make much sense of that. But there we go, that's the update, that's where I am currently. So, thank you for watching, bye.